You're listening to Fashion Confab, where we have conversations with the icons and trailblazers of the fashion industry.
Hello, everyone. I've got Belinda Jasmine on the line. She is the inventor and creator of Skinny Mirror. Hello, Belinda. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm excited to talk to you about this amazing creation that you have called the Skinny Mirror. But before we get started, can you tell me a little bit about you personally, your background, maybe where you're from, where you went to school, things like that?
Okay. Well, I have an associate's in graphic design, and so my major has been in advertising and marketing. And just up until the last 3 years, I came up with the Skinny Mirror. So the way that the Skinny Mirror came about was I had pulled an old mirror out of my attic, and I had just stuck it on the wall. And I used this mirror for 3 years, and I had no idea that it added 10 pounds to my reflection. So I used this mirror, and over the years, I started to develop insecurities with my body. And I'm about 5'2", about 110 pounds. I surf 3 or 4 days a week. I hike. I'm really active, and I've always been an advocate of being healthy and strong versus looking a certain way. And so over the years, I started to feel like I was gaining weight, but my clothes fit the same, and I weighed the same. And I was just like, what is going on with my body? Maybe it's the 30s or whatever's happening. Something's going on. But I started to develop all these insecurities. And one day my friend came over and said, hey, your mirror adds 10 pounds to your reflection. And the light bulb went off, and it clicked. I was like, how could a reflection affect how I feel about my body? I started to do a little bit of research in psychology and what goes behind body image and all this stuff. And what I realized is that, how could I, subconsciously, for someone who is such a health and fitness advocate, be so affected by the reflection I see, even though, I'm a slim fit person. So this sparked the idea of the Skinny Mirror. And so when we came up with the prototype, I tried the mirror for a couple months, and I felt how it made me feel good. It's like pretty much all my body insecurities went away. And to the point where it's like it doesn't even really matter what you look like. I realize it's all about how you feel on the inside. Mm-hmm. And so we did a little batch of 25, and I gave them to all my friends and family. And the feedback that came back to me was wonderful. Like they said that they loved it. They love their mirror. They love getting dressed and undressed in it every day. And what I understood is that they didn't just love the mirror. They actually liked what they saw in the mirror.
Right.
And so after this, I felt like it was. I actually felt like I needed to do this for the rest of the women in America, who are under so much pressure to look a certain way, that this mirror that just takes off that 5 or 10 pounds will actually give them that little bit of hope or confidence that they look good, to just get them feeling good in the right direction.
Right, right. I mean, people like Hoda from the Today Show tried your mirror, and she loved it. It's been on Good Morning America. What were the other comments that you got from these celebrities that have tried your mirror?
Well, I know that Hoda, at first, she was kind of skeptical about it, and she was like, why would you want one of those? But when she actually stepped in front of the mirror and she saw herself in it, she said, oh, I want that. And she walked away from it feeling good, and she said, you know what? I guess if it gives you confidence, it's a good thing. And it really is all about just feeling good about yourself. We're like taught for all our lives that we need to look a certain way to be beautiful, but nobody tells you that you already are beautiful. Like, everything that your body does for you on a daily basis is absolutely wonderful. And so I just I felt like it's my obligation to help educate women and young girls especially that their bodies are so miraculous that they don't need to look like that model in the picture. That because we are taught that being skinny is what makes us attractive and beautiful, just giving them a little bit of that, that swimming effect actually gives them a little bit more confidence. And with that little bit of confidence, it can take you a long way. It's taken me to this.
We talked earlier before we started the interview about the truth is most mirrors give you said an 10 pounds, is that correct?
Yeah, actually, a normal mirror, if it's perfectly hung on the wall with no distortion, you're actually looking at a two-dimensional image. So it's kind of like a camera or TV. So our mirrors have a slight curve to them. And there was a study done in Sweden in the lingerie shop. So the women were just in their underwear, so they could actually see their figures. The study was done where they were asked their height and their weight, and using the body mass index scale, they were shown these images, 10 images, where they thought their body was, how they looked, and the body mass index scale showed them what they actually looked like. So the women that was in the normal mirror, almost all of them saw themselves 2 to 3 sizes larger than they actually were. And the women that looked in the skinny mirror saw themselves 1 to 2 sizes larger than what they actually were. So it actually helped them see them closer to what their actual size is to other people in the world around them.
I've noticed that myself. I noticed certain mirrors make me look bigger and some look smaller. So I really don't know what the truth is half the time. I just,
it really doesn't matter.
In my clothes size,
But it really doesn't matter. Like, if you feel good, whether you're 10 pounds heavier than you want to be or you're 10 pounds lighter than your ideal weight, if you feel good about yourself, then it doesn't matter what your weight is. You can see someone that's 150 pounds that feels good about themselves, and they're more beautiful than that 105 model stick-thin woman, that they think they're supposed to be. It doesn't matter.
So I know you have some critics regarding your skinny mirror. How do you handle that, and how do you respond to the critics?
Well, all the critics have never actually looked in the mirror. So the first thing people say is, why would I want one of those mirrors, a mirror that doesn't show me what I really look like? And our biggest argument back, like the way that we talk, we say, well, if when you put on makeup in the morning, like we do all these rituals to make us feel and look more beautiful. So like women put on makeup, they wear their push-up bras, or they wear their Spanx, or their high heels. So if you take all that off, a lot of times you can't even tell it's the same person. I mean, it's like there's all these things physically on the outside that you portray to the world. It's what you look like, but you take all that off and it's not what you look like.
Right.
It's just a different way of looking at things. I mean, it's not a product that you carry around with you like a cell phone or a handbag or clothes you wear. It's an image that you carry around with in your head throughout the day. That you see yourself, and if you want to lose that 5 or 10 pounds, this mirror says, hey, you look like this. This is exactly what you look like. You are this. And what a lot of our testers and customers are finding, that they're losing weight even though they're not trying, just because they feel good about themselves. They treat themselves better. They're more confident, and so it's almost like a natural thing that they're reaching their goals. It's really interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. So how much does something like this cost?
So our base model, consumer model, is $165, and then they go up to $5,500.
Okay. Okay. And where can our listeners find the Skinny Mirror?
Well, right now they can buy them from our website. It's www.theskinnymirrors.com, and we're offering a 10% discount to the Fashion Confab listeners. It's just type in Confab 10 when you check out. You can get that.
Okay.
Oh,
Great.
I also wanted to mention one more thing. Every mirror comes with a 10-day exercise challenge. So the 10-day exercise challenge is 10 to 60-second exercises, not minutes, 10 to 60 seconds. And it just basically goes through all the common body parts and things that women have issues with, whether it's your stomach, your thighs, your chest. But it basically teaches, reminds you how much your body does for you. So there are these exercises you do in front of the mirror. The first exercise, for instance, is to get acquainted. So you stand in front of the mirror with your shoulders back. You look in the mirror for 10 seconds and smile. And the second day exercise is you say, I'm grateful for my legs because they allow me to get around. So it kind of reminds you of all the function your body does versus the aesthetics of your body.
Is there a place where someone can go to test the mirror?
We do have a distributor down in Southern California. We have a couple retailers around the country. I'm not sure if I can mention who they are, but there are some there are some brand name boutiques that have these installed in their stores.
Okay.
The good thing to know is you'll know it's one of our mirrors if you go into a store. Our logo is in the bottom right corner.
Okay.
So the mirrors are never meant to trick. If you don't see that logo on the bottom right corner, it's not one of our mirrors.
And for me, that says it could possibly be a mirror. If it's not your mirror, it could possibly be a mirror that's adding weight to your body or, not telling you the truth about what you really look like.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
all of our mirrors,
good thing.
all of our mirrors have the same swimming reflection. So no matter how you put them on the wall, there's no way that they can be distorted to be a fat mirror, or they all have the same swimming effect.
So are you an inventor by nature? Did you sort of come up with this? I know that you shared your story about having looked at yourself and thought you needed to lose weight when you realized you didn't, but were there any other motivations that made you create a mirror like this?
Yeah, actually, I had a little friend. She's about 12, and I just, she's a really slim little girl, preteen, but she started to develop, body issues, and saying like, I have a muffin top, and, I want to look like this, and she's the most talented, beautiful, thoughtful little girl, and she's worried about her body, And I gave her one of the first skinny mirrors, and she used that in her room. At first, she was like, I don't know if I want this in there, and I was like, you know what, just try it for a month. If you don't like it, you can give it back, or you can give it to someone who wants it. And so I put it in her room, and she used that mirror, and she came up to me a little while later, and she said, you know what, I really like the skinny mirror because it shows me that it doesn't matter what I look like. And she started making jewelry and posting it on Instagram, and instead of before this, she was posting some not so good photos of herself on there.
Okay.
But she started to, she started doing things and getting attention for her creativity because she put aside the whole body attention thing. And I'm like, man, these young girls are being taught that they get attention and they're beautiful for their bodies, but I would love girls to be able to see that they are so much more than their physical, that they have so much more to offer. And
right.
You know, you can get off of the dieting and the sizes, the pant sizes, and you can really do something that makes you feel good, and it helps a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. So let's wrap up and tell us how we can find you on social media and online.
You can just Google the Skinny Mirror, and our Facebook page and website and Twitter all pops up.
Well, I've learned a lot today about mirrors and how you're also changing the way people perceive themselves in a positive way. So I appreciate you being on the show and sharing your business and your outlook with our listeners.
Thank you.
You're listening to Fashion Confab, where we have conversations with the icons and trailblazers of the fashion industry. Listen in to be informed and inspired as we profile the most influential people in fashion today. Motivating, informative, entertaining. You're on trend with Fashion Confab.